Come on, be honest. Who was brave enough back in February to predict that Castleford against Salford on July the 14th would be top against third in the Betfred Super League table? But that's exactly what it is. The two big breakthrough clubs of 2017 have eyes on Old Trafford and the grand final. Now, Castleford are defending a 10-match winning streak and are unbeaten at home for 11 months. They're doing it tough with injury, though. Webster, Patrick, Moores, Cook and Ollie Holmes are all expected back soon. But Adam Milner is of more concern and could miss 4 to 6 weeks. Jai Hitchcocks comes back to the starting lineup in Webster's absence. Greg Minikin moves off the wing again as cover. There's been a reshuffle of the pack in Milner's absence, so it's a start for Alex Foster after coming off the bench at Wakefield last week. And this time the substitutes include rare appearances for Joel Monaghan and Kevin Laroya. Monaghan's missed the last 4 games, Laroya the last 3. Salford come here determined to bounce back from their heavy home defeat by Leeds last week. Junior Sow is out suspended and Greg Johnson doesn't make it either. Josh Jones moves back to the centre from the pack. Jake Bibby returns after 2 games out, while Todd Carney gets a start in place of Robert Louis. Up front, Logan Tompkins returns at hooker. There's no Craig Kopjak, so it's a completely new front row from last week. George Griffin starts, and Daniel Murray, a former Warrington Academy star, gets his first start in Super League for the Red Devils. And Robert Louis drops to the bench this week. Lamatazi will make his 70th Salford appearance here, and Jordan Wall makes his first appearance of the year. Well, it's a bit of a grey old evening here in West Yorkshire, but as you can see, the pitch is in magnificent condition, and these Castleford players have graced this stadium and graced this pitch all year, and for the last 11 months they are unbeaten on this their own midden. 10 consecutive victories behind Castleford. They are assured of pole position going into the Super 8s. But Salford have done brilliantly this year as well to secure a top 8 finish at the 3rd attempt. A blessed relief to all the Red Devils, having had 2 qualifying campaigns in the last couple of years. Their squad is stretched. As we say, Junior Sow is out suspended. But of course, they will be welcoming to the fold very shortly the legend that is Manu Vatavai. He's coming over from the New Zealand Warriors, and he will add strength to Salford as they take part in those Super 8s. The supporters are here, they're in good voice as well. For Castleford, victory will complete the first unbeaten home record in Super League. The quest then is to win 5 of the next 9, less if some of the other teams falter, to ensure a league leaders shield for the first time in their history, and a home semi-final with Old Trafford as the prize, on a ground where they've not lost, as I say, in almost 12 months. Barry, it should be an entertaining game this, top against 3rd in the Super League table. Were you brave enough to tip that way back in February?
Not me, Eddie, but I think it will be exciting, but I also think it will be brutal. Just to expand on the point that the lads have been talking about in the studio, defence will be key tonight. Something Terry O'Connor said. Can't stand back and admire this Castleford side because they're the best side at creating space and converting chances. Salford, back in that game in February, back in that round 5 fixture, they got into the faces of the Castleford Tigers. They made it messy and they spoiled everything Castleford tried to set up.
Well, we'll see how it all goes in the next 80 minutes. Now, that I mentioned last night at Wigan that we have marked some really tragic events lately, and sadly this week we have another one to report. At every game this weekend, Rugby League is going to celebrate the life of a young man. Evan Hawksworth, an under-14 Stanley Rangers player who has sadly passed away. In a freak accident, he sustained a head injury during a recent game. There'll be a minute's applause now in his memory, and of course our thoughts and condolences go out to Evan's family. He was a very special young man. Minutes applause in memory of Evan Hawksworth, who died after a freak accident, and all of us who have children, grandchildren, family, relatives, friends who play this great game know that it is an awful time for the family, and we all hope that freak accidents don't happen all that often, and thankfully they don't. So Phil Bentham then is the referee for this. Top against third in the Betfred Super League, as we've said. The Castleford Tigers running away at the top of the table. Can Salford hold on to their shirt tails here tonight and peg them back to the rest of the pack? We shall see. Gareth O'Brien gets us underway for what should be an exciting 80 minutes. It's always a special night when we come down here to the jungle. It's a tiny, compact, old little ground, it has to be said, but boy, it has some atmosphere.
You're right, Eddie. I wasn't brave enough to predict this will be first v third at the start of the year, but I'm brave enough to predict that this will be a far better game than what we saw last night. These two sides, in my opinion, are the best entertaining rugby league teams in this country, if not rugby sides. They throw the ball around. They have a willingness to entertain as well as attack and score points.
Big run there from Grant Millington. Of course, Terry O'Connor, with the benefit of hindsight, tells us that he did choose Castleford and Salford to be top and third at this stage of the campaign.
Eddie, I've been looking forward to this fixture. As soon as it was announced, I couldn't wait. Two excellent sides here. There's going to be some high-speed collisions and defence-driven performances.
He was in touch there. It was a high hanging kick. And Evans did his best to stay in the field of play, but as you see, out.
Difficult one for Niall Valls to judge that. All he can do is secure the ball. He can't take the risk. Almost 3 inches outside the field of play.
If he'd had the foot down, though, when he took the ball...
The ball would have been out on the full, but he's caught it, then put his foot down. So he ends up with a scrum. If he gets his foot out before he catches it, it becomes ball back, because it's a different law than the one we use on the dead ball line.
And he would have needed eyes in the back of his head to know where the line is, whereabouts he was in relation to the line. So we'll forgive him for that one.
So here then is Ben Roberts, and he gets the ball away. This is Minikin operating tonight in the centres for Castleford. And McShane at dummy half, 10 metres out, gives it to the big man, Jesse Senilifeo, who carts it forward, as he does for every minute that he is on the field. Back it comes now to Luke Gale. Gale with a short ball. Opportunity here for Foster. And Salford muscle up in defence and drag him back and away from their goal line. But still, 3 tackles remaining for the Tigers to give themselves the perfect start. Not the best pass from Millington. It's mopped up, though, by Hardacre. Castleford have lost a little bit of momentum here. That was a good defence from them. Mike McMeekin now. And it was Daniel Murray who got the tackle in, and there is, I was going to say a mistake, but it isn't. It's Dobson who got in the way of the play of the ball.
He was trying to clear the rope, wasn't he, Michael Dobson, on the wrong side of the play of the ball. Mike McMeekin had beaten him, and unfortunately gives a penalty away, kicks the ball forward, but defensively they've looked strong.
They've had to. The opening 3 minutes, it has been all Castleford Tigers. And this is Nathan Massey driving the ball in towards those posts. McShane is there again, misses out. Lefeo finds Millington, gets it wide. Here's Greg Eden, no stopping, Super League's top try scorer. And Greg Eden, the man who had a 5-game and a 1-try stint with Salford 3 years ago in 2014 while on Hull Kingston Rovers books, has come up with the first try of the match, and what's more, his 33rd try of this Super League season. Once the ball reached Greg Eden, there was no doubt he was over in the corner and Castleford would have the lead.
Well, when you're playing against Castleford, you've got to make sure that your discipline's okay. You can see that Niall Valls, he takes the ball out of the field of play, and then this penalty from Michael Dobson can't clear the ruck in time when Mike McMeekin plays that ball quickly. But aren't Cass a good side? The setup is to the right-hand side of the sticks. The long ball from Luke Gale. He knows that his winger will start infield, and then all of a sudden he'll skip to the outside. He's got that much pace. He'll back himself, and boy, hasn't he been a tremendous performer in the Tigers jersey this year. Well, the defenders from Salford, they get up, they chew up 2 or 3 metres, then they hold, they start trying to second guess, stand still and start backtracking a little bit, and a long pass undoes the tight, compressed defence of the Red Devils.
Well, I think Greg Eden can make his bank aware that the cheque for the leading try scorer in 2017 that he receives on the Man of Steel night will be going into his account towards the beginning of October.
And then shared amongst the rest of his squad, I guess.
Yeah, that like all of you three would have done, of course.
Divided by 25.
Well, here is Luke Gale with the chance to add the extras. Very tight to the touchline on the left-hand side. Good side, though, for a right-footed kicker. And he has almost got the ball over the top of the crossbar, but just hit the post instead. Eden's try then. Castleford lead 4-0.
A classic example of the fullback creating the overman. He's got an extra player, but the right pass selection there was wide straight to the winger. I suppose the game's all about numbers and angles, isn't it? Having more players, attacking players in the right part of the field, running in the right angles, and hoping that your ball players can find them with the right pass.
And when we're talking about the Man of Steel night that is in the week prior to the grand final, I think Darryl Powell will be a short-priced favourite at the moment to be the coach of the year again, although Ian Watson has done a fantastic job at Salford.
Ian Watson, Chris Chester, you look at what he's done with his Wakefield side. Ian Watson, it's remarkable to see the transformation of this side. They were in the qualifying eights last year. To see them challenging and going toe-to-toe with the big guns is a credit to him and his team.
Indeed it is. Alex Foster, there is Ian Watson alongside Willie Poaching. It's not been the start that he wanted. He's said in the build-up to this that he wants the defence to be tight and right on the button, and he doesn't want any distractions as far as the Challenge Cup semi-final in a couple of weeks' time is concerned. There's Gareth O'Brien. He just checked where he was as well on the field. He wasn't in the in-goal area, so he has to run that ball out.
Well, the Salford side have been successful at stopping back-to-back tries, something that the Tigers have been great at this week, and that Leeds did successfully in a golden patch that they had in their game last week against Salford. Having conceded very often, we see in rugby league the team receive the ball again, can score, receive a penalty, and then unscore on the back of that, so they've managed to get their hands back on the ball without seeing more points put on the board.
6 minutes or thereabouts on the watch, and Salford coming forward. Here is Daniel Murray, product of that Warrington Academy setup, and the 19s Player of the Year there in 2015. Todd Carney gets the ball away, and the big man Ben Murdoch-Masilla takes some stopping. Logan Tompkins gets the ball to Dobson. It goes on an old-fashioned up and under, and that's a mistake from Castleford in defence. Salford have got the ball back. The referee will now bring it back for the first knock on.
Well, that's the other side of Greg Eden's game, isn't it, when he's under pressure. In good field position, he can come up with some fabulous plays, but he has got a mistake in him now and again. Let's credit Daniel Murray as well. When he carried that ball forward, he led to the quick play of the ball for Ben Murdoch-Masilla, and that's what Salford will be looking for in this game. The quick play of the ball to enable Ben Murdoch-Masilla to go at a retreating defence. Look at this. The go forward. He breaks through, lands on his front. It's a quick play of the ball. Nathan Massey's on the wrong side of the rope. All of a sudden, Todd Carney finds the big man out wide, who just keeps pumping those legs forward, earning those metres after contact.
Good work from Salford. They now have the opportunity here with Carney again. Gets a short ball away to Josh Jones. It's all across the 10-metre line, though. No gain forward, really. Here is O'Brien, and this is now his Weller Huraki underneath the Castleford post. We know how good they are in defence this year. Castleford, they'll have to be good again here, and they are.
Good line speed. Luke Gale comes out, catches the man with the ball.
This is George Griffin now. Griffin trying to barge his way over, but three defenders meet him. They've weathered the 4 storms. Can they weather the next couple? O'Brien, no they can't. Gareth O'Brien's over for the equalising try. Well, he's been the drop goal specialist in the past couple of seasons as Gareth O'Brien, and a man who had a couple of games on loan here at Castleford in 2013, and he scored a vital drop goal in a 17-all draw against Catalan for the Tigers. The drop goal, of course, against Castleford in March that won the match for the Red Devils, and his try has put them level.
Well, Zach Hardacre and Greg Eden almost have a telepathic understanding of one another when they've got the ball in hand. The communication breakdown gives the Red Devils possession. It's a nice show and go from Gareth O'Brien. It just goes to show how important field position will be tonight for either side.
He's a good player, isn't he, Gareth O'Brien at the back? He spots things Look at that. He's got the confidence, knowing that he's got men outside him. But that little show and go we referred to, Barry, he beats a couple of defenders. Good play from Salford in good field position.
Yeah, I think the broadband must be down between the fullback and winger, because that communication was all wrong, wasn't it there, Baz?
Well, Michael Dobson then to try and add the extras and give Salford the lead. He's trying to draw it towards the post, but it just drifts wide of the left-hand upright. Marwan Kukash, the good doctor, the owner of the Salford Red Devils, will be pleased enough with the response.
Well, in the last try, it was the fullback that actually created the gap by being his sheer presence. Here it's the fullback who scored the try. He's obviously the most important attacking player in the game of rugby league, almost unmarked in many occasions. His opponent stood generally behind the line. Gareth O'Brien, a former halfback, showing his ability to pass and run the ball, essentially here in getting them the first try.
They will be encouraged by the start they've made, Salford. OK, they conceded the first try. They were pretty good in defence for 3 or 4 minutes, and they've responded immediately. They are the team that ended Castleford's 4-match unbeaten winning run at the start of the season in March, 13-12. The only Super League team Castleford have yet to beat.
Another good carry here from Daniel Murray. He has started the game strong, hasn't he? Took over from Craig Kopchak. He's got to lead by example. Give his half something to play off.
Dobson gets the ball into centre field to Carney, and he looks for the runners, just drops the pass off to George Griffin. There's Logan Tompkins back in the side this week. Gets it away to Carney again. Then Murdoch-Masilla has been so impressive. That's a penalty. Shenton pulled him back on the shirt, but the referee allows him to get up and play the ball. Wellham then is driven back by solid Castleford defence this time.
I agree with you, Eddie. That was a penalty from Shenton.
Well, a Haraki could run from him down the middle of the field. Logan Tompkins clapping his hands behind him, wants to get on with this. Salford looking really busy. Good hands from O'Brien to Jones. Jones almost gets past Ben Roberts, but there are 3 there to bring him down. Tompkins again to Dobson. Dobson floats the kick to the right-hand side. And Shenton comes up with a possession for the Castleford Tigers.
A lot of speed in that set from Salford. Castleford defending on the heels, and again, look at the speed in this set of 6. Salford quite content to just hit the man, hold him up. Michael Shenton comes up with a good take under pressure.
You know, with these two teams sitting in the positions that they are at the moment, it isn't beyond the bounds of possibility they will be at Old Trafford.
Be a shock if Castleford don't actually make it to Manchester by the time we get to October. The belief, the fact that they are a great team, not just great individuals. Ben Roberts here now tries to create space, but what was key in Salford's success when they played back in March earlier this season was the speed with which the outside defenders moved up and closed down players like Ben Roberts here. They couldn't create the overlap or the chances for the centres and wingers, but the referee says no, that's up too quickly. It's a penalty here.
Eddie, this is the second penalty that Salford have given away on the 5th play. You can't do that. You've done all the hard work. You're defending against a team that's the last kick. It's the last play. They're going to kick the ball. You can't give a penalty away and give them another 6 tackles.
McMeekin comes forward on the first of those 6 tackles. They're just 22 minutes away, meters away, and here is another penalty for lying on in the ruck, and it was the number 15 Ryan Lannon who was the main transgressor there, holding McMeekin down. So Roberts will take it forward, will find Gale. Gale then will find Hardacre. They're coming down that left-hand side again. This is Michael Shenton. Eden was hugging the touchline. He was a bit too close to the whitewash, though, for comfort, so he goes in a dummy half. He finds Gale, and here is Lefeo again. It's now a time for Salford once more to muscle up in defence. Millington gets it away. Short ball to Minikin. It's dropped. And Castleford surrender possession, and Ryan Lannon has it for the Red Devils.
Big play set up for Castleford. We've seen that a number of times this season. Salford made a dreadful mistake coming away from their own line.
Loose carry by Jake Bibby. That gives Alex Foster the chance. That was Gale who got it away to Shenton again. That's the 0 tackle. Was the free play. There was a hand in there, though. There was a hand in there, should I say. This is Massey.
Got to keep control of the ball, though, Eddie. He should be extra careful, knowing his side have been under pressure, defending their own line.
They're under pressure again here because Millington has found McMeekin. And McMeekin just seems to be getting better and better in 2017. will play the ball here to McShane. He then finds Millington again, seeing plenty of it, the big prop forward, Grant Millington. Thought about the offload, but Massey had turned his back on him. Takes the tackle then, and it's tackle number 3. McShane going for the line. McShane just short. Desperate defence from O'Brien. Here is Gale, over the top it goes to Eden again, look out! The ball comes off the boots of Niall Owls, and that will be a Castleford head and feet, surely.
I know they've conceded a try.
Salford ball.
Oh, said it wasn't played at.
I know they've conceded a try over on the right-hand side.
How is this not played at, Stuart?
Well, that's the call he's got from the touch judge, who's right beside it. Is the ball kicked at him? I think it is. There's not much chance to get out of the way on that one.
The leg came out. The leg came out.
That's the right call, that, for me. He can't get rid of his legs, can he?
Well, perhaps.
He's looking at the ball, isn't he? He's looking at the ball, though.
He's approached the ball. It's just like a charge down, really. There. He's looking at the ball. That should be
Yeah, you should be right there, Eddie.
Oh dear, I hope you're all not going to start agreeing.
No, I'm not, Eddie. I'm not going to agree with you. Don't worry.
You never would.
You could do the line. We could get you a flag, Eddie.
No, thanks. I've got enough trouble up here.
And you've got trouble with your hamstrings as well. You can't do the line, Eddie.
Big set of 6 here now from Salford, isn't it? Couple of mistakes, couple of penalties. Here's the experience of the likes of Weller Haraki coming to the fore.
Haraki will play it to Tompkins. Tompkins gets it away to Todd Carney. He drops the ball off to Chris Wellen.
Hasn't he been a good signing, Chris Wellen?
Carney again dabs the ball into open space. Hardacre traps it almost and then picks it up. Good chase. Good chase led by Logan Tompkins, led by Todd Carney. Crowder getting on the back of the official. Good, solid hitting here. Big Ben, Murdoch, Masilla. And Weller Haraki.
I like their attitude here from the Salford Red Devils, the way that they're defending, the way that they're communicating between each other. Ben Murdoch, Masilla, yet again.
Take that, Nathan Massey. Paul McShane kicks, and it's a 40-20 attempt if this goes the right way for him, and it does. That's a wonderful kick from Paul McShane. Well, if it's not Luke Gale, it's Paul McShane.
You know, I'm tipping him to be in the World Cup squad at the end of the year.
Well, he's in the 32, isn't he?
But on the big bird, he's been.
Think he'd make the cut?
I think he's been tremendous this year. It's not just all been about Luke Gale or Zach Hardacre or the man who scored in tries, Greg Eden. I think it all starts with the play of the ball with him.
They're all multi-skilled. If it's not Paul McShane, it's Grant Millington, who not only carries the ball, charges it forward, he's got the delicate touches too.
Here's Luke Gale, gets the ball away to Hardacre. There's Shenton. Shenton loses the ball. He claims it was stolen, but the referee will have none of it. He says that's a knock-on.
You look at the right side for Salford. They know in Chris Wellham and Niall Owls they're going to be under pressure from that man Michael Shenton and the league's top try scorer. The communication, and Niall Owls has all the faith in his centre who's defending on the inside of him, that he doesn't have to bite in, he doesn't have to jam in and try to close that play down. He'll back his teammate, and so far they're doing a very good job. Look at him, he's backing off Elvels, he's backing off. When it's the right time to go into Shenton and effect the tackle, he does that.
Interesting debate about Paul McShane in the England 32. Josh Hodgson for the Canberra Raiders. You've got Darryl Clark, of course, at Warrington. James Roby still not
Danny Houghton
off the exactly, and Roby still not off the radar. Houghton. I mean, we're blessed with hookers.
Well, isn't that good though that we can throw all those names into the hat and may the best man win? Whoever's the best player, whether you're playing in one of the top sides in Super League or not, it shouldn't really matter. It's the form of the individual. And I think Paul McShane has been very good this year.
Widnes 6-4 up against Wakefield in one of the other matches that are taking place tonight. The big one, of course, is Huddersfield against Lee. A win for Huddersfield, and Warrington will be consigned. Daniel Murray's former club, Warrington will be consigned to the Middle Eights.
Well, that's a shame for the young front row. He's been busy in the opening 17 or 18 minutes, but attention to detail, his coach will tell him. A simple fumble at the play of the ball isn't good enough. And we're talking about Paul McShane. The number 9 spot for Salford is really important. Logan Tompkins starts the game. Robert Louis will come on and play a little bit of that dummy half role for Salford when Tompkins needs a break and needs a rest.
The last time Robert Louis was a sub was when they played against Catalan back in April, and they lost 38-6, so they'll be hoping that the start of the game with Todd Carney doesn't have a similar effect. It's interesting that neither Dobson or Carney are really ever a running threat for Salford, and amazing how well they've attacked without two halfbacks who really do take on the line.
Here is McShane, and he gets it away to Roberts. Drops the pass off again to Mike McMeekin. But, that's good tracking across by Daniel Murray. This now is Millington, gets the ball away. Good hands, great hands. It is with Shenton. It's now behind Greg Eden. They bombed an opportunity there. They've blown the chance for the second try.
Well, that was the first time that they were caught out, wasn't it? Look, you see Chris Wellham.
Is it touched by a Salford hand here?
Yeah, it'll be Castleford's head and feet here, just touched by the winger, Todd Carney.
He did, mate, he did.
Well, Chris Wellham goes in, Nyla Valls has to go in. The space on the edge, Todd Carney finds himself in a 2-on-1 situation with Shenton and Eden. He has to make a play for that. Oh, Ben Murdoch-Masila was coming across the back, probably the biggest sweeper in Super League, the back rower.
Just the merest of touches, but it was enough. Todd Carney has missed the last two matches. This is only his 10th appearance of 2017. 4 goals on his last appearance in the 1-point defeat at St Helens. Millington now. Dobson quickly out of the line to try and stop Roberts, but he didn't manage to do that. Here is Roberts. Hitchcock's hugging the touchline here. Roberts gets over. He's got the ball down. A brilliant individual try from Ben Roberts. 5 times a New Zealand international. 11 times he's played for Samoa. He turned 32 last Saturday, did Ben Roberts, and he's just got his 7th try of the campaign, and it was a very good try as well. We were all waiting for the ball out wide. Roberts had a mind of his own, and it all came off for him.
But you give them too much field position, and Castleford are one of those teams that are going to score tries. Todd Carney had no option but to play for that ball. He was caught out. The ball goes to Greg Eden. He scored. And Phil talked about running halves and who's going to be that man for Salford. Well, this is a man who just gets the ball, tucks it under his wing, he'll back himself, and it still took some scoring from the New Zealand international.
You do need a combination of halfbacks. One who might be an organiser, a creator, makes the passes and kicks and things like that, and another who can run and score with individual power and brilliance. And that's what Castleford have, a great balanced side here. And they've converted this territory that they've had. Errors by Salford in their own half, 2 in the last 10 minutes, have allowed Castleford to get close to the Salford line here, and then with his sheer brilliance, and Samoan international powers and gets over from close range.
He's a thick set, he's very hard to handle and tackle, as some of those Salford defenders found then.
And he's very aware that he can stay on his knees and take 2 strides forward on those knees and plonk the ball down. So Castleford regain the lead. It's his first stride home, by the way, since Good Friday for Ben Roberts. Can Gale add the extras this time? Yes, he can. 10-4. Castleford, the league leaders, are ahead. This unbeaten home record is on the line.
Well, I want to credit Ben Roberts because I think he's as strong as a forward and as skillful as any halfback. But Michael Dobson, who misses that player twice, in a top 3 game, first versus third, Dobson needs to be better than that.
Well, Ben Roberts is having a much better year for Darryl Powell than he did in 2016. You may remember that he only had 5 games last year, a foot injury ending his year just about after the Magic event in Newcastle in 2016. But he's an important part of this Castleford Tigers team that's taken on all before them this year and has strode away at the top of the table.
Well, you focus on one and then all of a sudden someone else will step up and get you. That's how good they've been this year. But still, Salford, if they can just clean up a few of the things, the errors near their own line, the penalties that they're giving away, this is what's really hurting them. And a couple of the players then, as soon as that penalty was awarded, I looked at what the reaction from the teammates, and they all put their heads down. They know they can't do things like this. You're trying to dominate them, but Logan Tompkins strips that ball.
And there's a bit of a push as well from Logan Tompkins on the shoulder. It will not please Ian Watson, all of that. Giving away too many penalties. Castleford have had 4, Salford have had 1. Minikin restarts then, finds Nathan Massey. Tompkins this time legally brings him down. Huddersfield ahead against Lee. That's black for Warrington. This is Gale, gets a short ball away, Shenton almost away from Wellham. Good job that Carney was there. McShane. Lefeo pokes his nose through the line. They claw him to the ground. Here is McShane again, gets the pass away. Gale, Shenton, Eden, aerial, and inevitable if he managed to stay in the field of play, but possible shoulder injury for Eden in the spectacular manner that he scored that try. Try is on the field, the decision, but look at Greg Eden.
He knows and all, doesn't he?
This is a try, this.
This is a try, but at what cost? Stuart.
They're looking at the touchline only, and we know from experience that he very rarely touches it. Does he get the ball down? Yes, absolutely no problem. The corner flag went out of the game for try-scoring situations a couple of years ago. This will be confirmed.
But it's what happens after this.
Well,
there's the try that's given.
That's just incredible, that, isn't it?
Well, he's been doing it all the way through. All the way through the year he's been doing this.
I've no doubt about the try. I'd like to see when he plants that left arm, how he injures the shoulder.
Well, the try is going to be awarded by video referee Ben Thaler. There it is. But at what cost? Because there he is, Greg Eden, still on his knees in the corner. And I think they're going to get rid of him in this match. They're going to take him off. And this is going to be a big blow if it's a serious shoulder problem for Greg Eden and for Darryl Powell. That's his 34th try of the season now. And look, the arm is in a sling.
Eddie, I know that body language. I know that expression. That shoulder is out. Matty Crowder, the physio for Castleford, he's signalling we need to get him off. It was a glorious finish. They went right, they went left, came back to that right side, back to the left. The try is scored, but there you go. He lands the full weight of his body. I've had more shoulder injuries than I care to talk about, and I know that expression, I know that fall. I'd be very surprised if he gets back on the field.
What, this season?
It depends how difficult. For me, it looks like it's out of the socket. How they managed to manipulate the arm and get it back in the socket, get back in the joint. How much disturbance and irritation there's around the joint and the socket.
Well, it obviously is a problem. And, well, I gave him the top try scorer at the end of the season a few moments ago. If he leaves tonight and doesn't come back this year, there is a chance for somebody, but they'll have to go a bit. That's a great kick from Gale. The one saving grace for Greg Eden is that next week they're at the Catalan Dragons. The week later they're off because they're out of the Cup. Greg Eden has got some time to repair whatever that damage is.
Well, they'll be hoping, won't they, that can be, they can avoid surgery and get him back on the field at some point this season. You talk about the top try scorer. Well, whoever plays on the left wing for Casford in Eden's absence has got a great chance of racking up quite a few tries. The amount of ball and chances that are created over that side of the field. Salford have got to try and stay in the contest here. They were blown away with a blitz by Leeds last week in the first half. 7 tries in a period where they scored in just 16 sets of possession there. They never saw the ball. They rolled forward. They had penalties and just kept racking up the points. Can they manage to hold on here now while their opponents are on a roll?
They are on a roll. They're going down that left-hand side again, where Joel Monaghan has come on the field to replace Greg Eden, the 35-year-old who he knows where the try line is as well. Warrington know all about him. But he's had his chances limited here at Castleford this year. He's been a squad player. He's out there now, and there's another problem here for Nathan Massey. Gale with a high kick to the left-hand side again. Monaghan's after it. Timed his challenge perfectly on Niall Valls.
He does well, doesn't he, Niall Valls, under pressure from the substitute Joel Monaghan, sorry. But you know, you look at Salford now, they've got a huge challenge now. They're up against a team that haven't lost a Super League game in 10. They know how to get wins. They know how to put pressure on the opposition. Can Niall Valls do it now?
Well, that's a tremendous run from him, and he's trying to turn Hardacre inside out. Hardaker timed his challenge to perfection. Shenton was there as well, but Salford want to get on with this quickly, and they do. Here is Dobson. Now it's with Carney. Carney is scragged to the ground. Penalty.
Well, he was waiting for that penalty, wasn't he, Todd Carney? Was it Mike Meekan that was lying in the ruck? Comes up with a good tackle on him initially.
Here's Ryan Lannon now. Salford getting on with the job quickly because they need to score quickly. They're 12 points adrift. That's a drive in by Robert Louis, who has come off the bench. He's ever present so far this season, Louis, but rarely has come off the bench. O'Brien drops it off to Wella Haraki, who will have a pop at this Castleford Tigers defence now.
Where's Ben Murdoch-Masila? I'm sure they'll be trying to find him. They go the other way.
Louis to Dobson. Dobson then to Lannon. And Lannon is just held by good defence low down by Ben Roberts and Grant Millington. Dobson again slides the kick in, looking for Robert Louis. There was an air shot there, and McShane came to the rescue. He booted the ball over the top of the stands. Good response from Ian Watson's side.
Well, it all came about from the run by Niall Valls, didn't it? You know, they had so little possession. The Tigers dominating all the ball in that first 25 minutes. But one break's turned it around. They've had a penalty. They now get a goal line dropout. They've been brilliant this year at trapping their opponents in the in goal and forcing them to restart with a long kick. Here's the break down the centre of the field. But probably the difference between Castleford and every other team in Super League this year is that the breaks that the Tigers have made, more often than anybody else, they've converted into tries. Nobody alongside Evels there to take that one and turn it into 6.
But he's back from a loan spell at Halifax this year earlier. This is his 15th appearance for Salford, Niall Valls.
Oh, that's a bad mistake, that. They've lost easily 15-20 metres on that dropout.
Maybe more, as Lamatazi takes it to the halfway line. This now is Olsi Krasnicki. Robert Louis. Ian Watson certainly is changing things up a bit. Well, Haraki takes it forward. Louis. Krasnicki again. Here's Dobson. Dobson gets it wide to O'Brien. He hangs on somehow, as O'Brien did really well. He was under intense pressure there from Jai Hitchcocks. Disentangles himself, plays the ball to Dobson. There's Louis, short ball from him, and Krasnicki chimes in once more. Last tackle coming up here. So Castleford on the back end of that goal line dropout. What have they got to defend this kick from Dobson? They have got Zach Hardaker, who arguably is the best fullback in Super League this year. Right, let's get news of Greg Eden. This could be vital for Castleford in 2017. Bill.
He's made an impact already tonight as Greg Eden, but he'll play no further part in this game. It is a damaged AC joint. That's the verdict to the Castleford Tigers medical team in the dressing room, getting treatment after sustaining the injury as he went in for that try. Out for tonight, out for who knows how long. At least they've got a bit of a breather with the Challenge Cup weekend coming up, but certainly they don't want to lose Massey after the massive... they don't want to use Eden after the massive contribution he's made. And Nathan Massey is another worry for them. He's left the field, been replaced by Andy Lynch, got what looks like a hip injury. So problems for the Castleford Tigers.
Thanks, Bill. I doff my hat to Barry, who has all the experience of the shoulder injuries. I know a little bit about hamstrings, as you know, Barry, but you know about shoulder problems. AC joint. How serious is that?
Well, that could be anything from 2, 4, 6 weeks. That is the better of the shoulder injuries. If the shoulder was out of the socket, that may have required surgery. It's a little ligament that attaches the top part of your shoulder to the bottom part of your shoulder. It's not as serious as a full dislocation.
You get grade 1, 2 or 3 and he's right, you could be back within 2 weeks, Eddie, depending on how severe it is.
So that, with the Challenge Cup break,
good news.
That's good news.
Yeah, that's good news.
If it is a minor damage.
Depending on what the grade is, yeah.
OK, they'll obviously have him scanned as soon as they possibly can. Oh, how about that from Lefeo? He's bumped about 5, 6 people off, and eventually the other big madman, Ben Murdoch-Masila, comes in and gets him down, but Phil Bentham's not too impressed with something that he's seen.
Well, this report from the touches, I think there's contact with the head as far as he's concerned.
Well, he's not missed the game all year, has he, Jesse Seni Lefeo? And you get players who play the game who either got very good footwork They've got good balance and they're strong. Ben Murdoch-Masila.
Something of nothing, that, to be fair. Two big men meeting shoulder to shoulder. Lamatasi in there as well. I'm really surprised. Ben Murdoch-Masila has had hardly any ball. He scored 2 devastating tries in that round 5 game.
The kicking for goal here as we watch the offence again by Murdoch-Masila. Jesse Seni-Lefeo, he's one of those players that Darryl Powell has pulled out of the rabbit, like a rabbit out of the hat this year. He was released by Cronulla with a year of his contract to go, and he's come here and he's set the place alight.
Well, he got off to a good start. He scored a fantastic try in a pre-season game when they played at St Helens, and he had that powerful impact that I know that every side wants from a sub or a forward. Now, in the absence of Junior Moores, who I thought was brilliant, the contender for Man of Steel till he got injured several weeks ago, Seni-Lefeo seems to have stepped up here now and fulfil that role of being the dominant ball carrier for the Tigers.
And again, the good news for Castleford is, Powell tells me Junior Moore's not too far away from a return. In fact, a lot of the players, Adam Milner apart, should and could be ready for next week. So they're getting the troops back at the right time, the business end of the season that is looming. Luke Gale to try and increase the lead with this penalty, and he does. He strokes it like a really good golfer with a little wedge. He just strokes it over the bar.
Well, you give him those opportunities, Luke Gale, and he won't miss, will he? But Ian Watson knows he's got a job on his hands now, that controlling the likes of Jesse Seni-Lefeo, who, when he played in the NRL, all the games that he played, he came off the bench. He's enjoying his time at Castleford, starting the games now, and really getting stuck into the opposition.
Yes, he made more substitute appearances than he probably cares to remember in the NRL with Jesse Seni.
He's one of those players in all. He plays the game hard and tough, but when he's off the field, he's a gentle giant and very rarely without a smile.
Huddersfield 8 up against Lee. Widnes still leading against Wakefield. And Leeds Hull is the other game that's taking place tonight as well. And Hull are ahead at Headingley by 6 points to 0. So it's all shaping up. We might have the bottom 4 sorted out by the end of tonight. Depends in what order, of course, though. Lee and Widnes, bottom 2. Catalan and Warrington, 8th and 9th and 10th. But in what order come the end of next week? We shall see.
Well, there's a problem with Ryan Lannon, the number 15 for Salford. Just took a bit of a head knock. Still a bit dazed, looking at the physio. He's just gone over to Wella Haraki and waved him off to the sideline.
Salford trying to get the ball away from their own line. Doing it tough against this defence. Haraki with another solid enough run. Still inside their own half, but only just. Louis gives it then to Lamatazi, his 70th Castleford appearance. It was a good offload to Louis, and Louis gets through the defence. He has support from Wellham, and Chris Wellham goes over for Salford. Credit the initial break. Credit the initial slip pass to Louis. And Chris Wellham, well, he's edging towards 100 tries in Super League. That's his 99th at this level. 90 of them for Hull KR. This is his 9th for Salford this year.
Well, Lamatasi goes into contact, and with 3 defenders around him, he stretches the arm out and finds his fellow substitute Robert Lewitt, who has a couple of options available to him. Finds Wellham. This is a little bit more like the Salford that we've come to expect. That's a quality offload to a player that's expecting it.
Well, when Robert Louis gets this ball, you feel that Jesse Seni-Lefeo is beaten. He goes to ground far too early. Look at that, the footwork from Robert Louis. Does everything right. Eyes up where Zach Hardacre is. And at the right time, he gives the ball to that man. Important kick here now for Michael Dobson.
Yes, this to get them back to within 8 points. Dobson, left-footed. And he has managed to kick that. That's a great kick from Michael Dobson. He's a man who's closing in on 2,000 career points now, Michael Dobson. But this from Louis was brilliant.
it's one of those plays you can't quite work out how he beats the defenders because he's not moving that quickly. Look, he just pushes away from Luke Gale there. Makes it look so easy to go past the England halfback. Get his side back closer to where the scoreboard should be here now. They've had a little bit more possession. They get it inside their opponent's half. And Chris Wellham, who's had arguably the best year of his entire career, has given the side some hope.
Yes, he had 2016 out of Super League with Bradford. He really did make his name at Hull Kingston Rovers. And he was in the right place at the right time.
We talked about Robert Louis, didn't we? Talked about his interchange and the rotation between him and Logan Tompkins, and Coach Ian Watson has took the decision that to get him where the action is, get him where he might be able to pick up a loose pass or a few scraps might be beneficial for the team.
Well, Robert Louis has come on and he's made an impact. Certainly has. As has this fellow all the way through the campaign, Ben Murdoch-Masila. Wakefield now lead at Widnes. Carney to Dobson, high again from the left boot of Dobson, who wants it. Nobody seems to. It bounces and it comes straight to Andy Lynch.
It was a terrible kick from Michael Dobson, that.
And it was an awful contest for the ball while it was in the air. Here's Springer.
Well, look at that. There's another man who commits defenders to the tackle. Godwin Springer, so powerful.
Hitchcox. Ball gets away to Foster. Shenton. On halfway, crosses the halfway line. Pulled down by Lamatazi. Here goes Hitchcox again.
He's putting himself about Ben Murdoch-Masila in defence, isn't he?
Gale, centre field. Lynch. They've reached the last tackle, have Castleford. It's with Gale again. Slides the kick in. Well watched by Gareth O'Brien. Hounded down, though, by his opposite number, Zach Hardacre. The Salford fans weren't terribly impressed with the challenge from Hardacre.
He had to check his run then, Gareth O'Brien. He was chasing hard to go across to cover on the left side, and all of a sudden the kick came back against the grain. He did well to reposition himself and come up with that ball.
Here's the try scorer, Chris Wellham again. Louis, the dummy half, gets the ball away to Josh Jones. Jones escapes one would-be challenger, can't get away from Monaghan and Shenton. O'Brien. Louis again. Just pops the pass up.
Surrender! 5, stand, go.
Lamatazi plays it to Louis once more. Dobson, that's a better kick, but straight into the arms of the Castleford winger Hitchcox.
Well, he was under pressure from Paul McShane, wasn't he?
Hardacre was under pressure then. That wasn't the best pass.
But the Reds are aware of what Hardacre and co can do in the last few minutes today. We've been at games this season here where you think you've got them 8 points behind and they'll strike in the dying seconds here. That's what they're attempting to do. Speed it up, go straight down the middle, find some tight defenders and score again.
McShane 40 metres out. Roberts, McMeekan. Dobson did well, stood his ground, brought him down. McShane will now have a dash up the middle of the field. Gives it to Gale. Gets a quick pass away. Foster couldn't take it in. Salford survived.
Well, good defence from Salford as they look to shift the ball out wide. Look to get the numbers. Suck a couple of the Salford defenders in. You could see that with Wellham coming in, Evel's coming in, they've got a couple of players out wide. But it was a good read from Chris Wellham, the number 22 for Salford, over on that right side.
Clock is stopped because Castleford kicked the ball away in frustration as a result of that mistake.
I think the other side are happy because they're in exhaustion at the moment. I think the Salford were giving everything to stay in the hunt there, work hard defensively, but they've sucked in as much oxygen as they can here now. We'll see whether they've got a counter-attacking attitude here. Can they speed it up now? They've got possession. Robert Louis want to do that. It's what he spoke about before the match when he was interviewed. Should have been a penalty there. The players were offside.
Yes, they seemed to break a bit early.
I think the referee had called out the ball was out because the loose forward was out the scrum.
So Salford looking to get themselves on the scoreboard again as we approach half-time. Louis to Carney. Back it comes to O'Brien. Here's Wellham on a diagonal run. Springer and Lynch standing their ground with Lefeo. Wellahuraki.
The last player's got to be good here for Salford. They'll have one more set to defend after this if they don't score a try.
Carney with the kick, aiming it for Niall Evalds down that right-hand side. And the ball has come free. Monaghan, did he ground that ball in the in-goal area?
The referee called play on. It was a magnificent kick.
But he has to ground the ball intentionally. If he didn't intend to ground the ball, it would be play on in that situation.
And that's why they are playing on, and that's why Salford have got Castleford penned near their own line.
Eddie has said the last player's got to be good. That's brilliant.
It's brilliant, but surely that was grounded.
Obviously not intentionally.
Lynch, good defensive set here from Salford. Great set. 23 metres out, Gale has to kick it downfield. Evalds has moved across to make sure it wasn't going for a 40-20. And they'll have one more crack at them in the last minute of this first half, will Salford.
Well, this is where you want all your big guns to step up now. You want all your men that can create something, whether it be your outside men, your middle men, or the lads who pull the strings. And they've certainly got enough of those players on the pitch now, Salford.
That's great. Harassing on Ryan Lamman.
It was a telegraph pass. Ryan Lannan was always collecting that ball. That's why he got dished up.
Half-time at Widnes, half-time at Huddersfield. And I understand Hull are 7-0 up at Headingley at half-time against the Leeds Rhinos. Hardaker has made a mistake. That's going to be a knock-on.
His first was on line, wasn't it?
Salford will race to form this scrum. Ian Watson has a quick look at the time that's left, and it's exactly 7 seconds.
That's going backwards.
That's going forward.
On the second one, isn't it?
Comes off his right hand, does it? Wow, one more play here.
Backwards, backwards, forwards.
Yeah, Hitchcock was in review, like Eddie. Line of view.
Do you know, if I was Salford here, I'd be lining Ben Murdoch-Masila out wide amongst some of the smaller players.
He's hardly touched the ball, has he?
Just get him out, position him out wide and let him have 20 metres running onto the ball.
He's got to be in the scrum, come on.
See how devastating he can be. Give him early ball, let him set his own line.
Well, Murdoch-Masila's there in the second row. Louis gets the ball away to Carney. Carney booms the pass wide. That was for the touch judge. There's the half-time siren. They've given a good account of themselves, the Red Devils. It's only 18-10 at half-time. Remember, this is the only team that Darryl Powell's men have not yet beaten in Super League in 2017. Eden gave them a great start with a try in the 3rd minute. O'Brien levelled matters up 5 minutes later, 4 apiece. Then we had a Roberts try, the second try from Eden, that's resulted in a shoulder problem for the leading try scorer in the Super League. Gale's added the goals, 16-4 it was. Gale with a penalty goal, 18-4. Then Welham, 7 minutes from half-time, and Dobson's goal. It's only 18-10 at half-time. Game on at the Jungle.
Welcome back to the Mendahoes Jungle in Castleford, home of the Tigers, and a ground they have not lost at this season. They lead at half-time 18 points to 0. First to score through Greg Eden. Salford last to score in the half through Chris Wellham. They are still in this match despite the half-time deficit of 8 points. OK, let's bring you up to date with the other scores from the grounds. Warrington fans, look away now. Huddersfield leading 8-0 at home. Lee Gaskell with a try converted by Danny Brough, and Brough kicking a penalty over at Headingley Carnegie Stadium. Leeds great home record against Hull FC. They're trailing 7-0. Scott Taylor converted try and as Mark Sneed drop goal. Widnes and Wakefield exchanged early tries. In fact, Widnes led 8-6 before Bill Tupou and Sam Williams hit with late tries in the first half for Wakefield. So all going the way of Chris Chester's men at half-time over at Widnes. Well, Darryl Powell, even though he's got a half-time lead, he has got some issues. Nathan Massey at the top of your screen, he came off with what looked to be a hip injury in that first half. Remains to be seen whether or not he will play any further part in the game. We know that Greg Eden will not play anymore tonight. He has hurt and injured his shoulder. So definitely Darryl Powell down to 16 fit players Ian Watson, half-time talk last week stirred a response from his side. They were so poor against Leeds, they needed to do something. They have been pretty good tonight. And 8 points is not an insurmountable deficit for them to claw back. Castleford, first off the mark. Inevitable that it would come through. Greg Eden on that right to left shift for Castleford. So good at it, so hard to defend, and again, success for them.
And they've been looking at it, hadn't they? They've been looking at it for the couple of minutes leading up to the 3rd-minute strike from Greg Eden. This comes from the penalty. This, I think, has been Salford's Achilles heel in the first half. Discipline. They've been giving up far too much territory. This is the most difficult thing about this sort of defence against this play. They've actually got the numbers correct here. They've got a 4-6 split on a right-hand stick, which is perfectly normal. The thing that's not normal is the ball from Paul McShane. That pass there enables Grant Millington to get onto the 3rd man in, Todd Carney, which in turn puts an enormous amount of pressure on these two guys, Wellham and Evalds, the last of whom decides perhaps a little too early, although this is fractions of seconds, and goes to read a play and tries to preempt what's going to have. Well, I think you try and preempt a play against somebody of the quality of Luke Gale, and he can pick the ball, and he can see his winger there has already decided to take a line for Zach Hardaker. The rest is simple. He's one of the best finishers in the league.
Salford errors inviting Castleford onto their line. It was a Castleford error that gave Salford territory from which they built to score a try.
Yeah, great kick on the end. Pressure by Paul McShane. Dobson still manages to get the kick where he wants it.
Whose ball is this?
Well, the ball is coming down between these two players. It's coming down in this area of the field. But if you always asked me, as in my time as a player and your time as a player, if there's any doubt at all, it's the man there, Zach Hardaker, who's got to take control of that. You can call my ball, my ball, my ball all day. The second you offer somebody else's, your ball, that's not fair on Eden. That puts you under an awful lot of pressure to respond. And they did respond. They took advantage. There's Gareth O'Brien. We looked at team execution for Greg Eden's try. Have a look at the work that this man's prepared to do off the ball. Covers fully 40 metres to get round to the other side of the play. Offer an extra man, which Cass can't defend against. The other thing they had really done really well, Daniel Murray, who was busy, as the guys in commentary said. There's 2 markers there inside the 10-metre area, which is not ideal. It means they're going to be thin this area of the field, which means any pressure they can put on Ben Roberts, as they do with this frontline run from Ryan Lannon, really leaves Greg Minikin at sea. I think Greg Minikin, unlike Niall Evalds, who probably tried to preempt a play too much, needed to make an earlier call. But again, you know, this is top line stuff, and you're talking about fractions of seconds.
The first 2 tries of the game unconverted, 4 points apiece. The next 2 tries were converted, and they came in quick succession from Castleford, a trait we've seen throughout this season.
Yeah, double strike within 3 minutes, and you know, at this point, when Dobson comes out the line, Roberts knows that he's the 3rd man in. They know where these players play in opposition. So he knew that this was where the soft defence was going to be, where he was going to have the space. It's a brilliant individual try. This one, we come to arguably the story of the first half. We haven't paid Roberts due consideration there because it was excellent, but we need to spend time talking about this. It's a great finish, it's a trademark finish, but his 34th Super League try could well be his last for some time, because as you'll see from this last clip, there's just a moment here as he comes down. Watch this arm that's about to come off the floor now. That shoulder is out, and then you see the shirt wrinkle up. It's a shoulder that's come out and gone back in. And at the very least, there's a bad AC joint in there. At worst, that's a dislocation, and that's a real worry for the Tigers.
Wonderful medical analysis. I'll get you a look at my knee later on.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yep.
Let's look at Chris Wellham's try. They could not shake Salford. This is credit to Ian Watson and his side. Improved defensively from last week and staying in the match.
Yeah, and that's it. That's the key phrase. Can't shake them off, and that would be a worry for Darryl Powell. It looked nothing of a tackle, and these have been rare, haven't they, against the Tigers' defence? Brilliant offload from Lamatazi, and then look at that footwork. Across one player, through another, and then the pass at the right time. Zach Hardaker's a good fullback, and he was holding off, so he gave a ball early.
Can Salford do the double over Castleford? Can they go on and claw that 8-point deficit back and go on and win this match?
I would say, despite Cass having a home record here, this will be, and notwithstanding the last 10 minutes against Hull, the last time we were here, this could be a really tense second 40 minutes. Salford have got full deck there. Cass are already down 1, maybe 2 rotations off that subs bench. And they're playing all right at Salford. Just tidy up those discipline errors. This could go right down to the wire.
How much will those injuries to Greg Eden and Nathan Massey hurt the Castleford Tigers? We will see shortly. Our commentary team of Eddie and the boys are standing by to take you through the second 40 minutes. Salford very much in this game, but Castleford will repeat it again, unbeaten at home and on a 10-match winning run.
Well, next week it's all about jockeying for position in the Super 8s and the Middle 8s. And we've got 3 great games for you live here on Sky Sports. Thursday, it's Warrington against Widnes, 7 o'clock. On Friday, always a great game this, Wigan against Leeds, 7:30. And on Saturday, just before 5 o'clock, the Catalan Dragons will take on the league leaders, the Castleford Tigers. A Super League Friday that features those leaders. Again, they're ahead 18 points to 10 against the team sitting in 3rd place in the table coming into this weekend, the Salford Red Devils. Salford have got that first Challenge Cup semi-final since 1998 looming, and they are hoping that they won't lose focus. Darryl Powell wants to get pole position, not only going into the Super 8s, but coming out of them as well, which would mean a home semi-final here and the prize, a place at their very first grand final in 2017. We shall see. There is a little bit of water to run under the bridge before all that. 40 minutes, for instance, here tonight, and Hardacre gets us underway. The second half in motion. Salford in possession. Only 8 points adrift, Terry. It's all to play for.
Eddie, it'd be a positive changing room at half-time from Ian Watson. What he would have said, look, 5 penalties to 2 behind in this game in the first half. And you look at the tackles that they made 54 more tackles than Castleford. If they can just tidy up a few areas, just 8 points behind, and give the ball to the likes of Ben Murdoch-Masilla. They've got a couple of tries in them. It's how they defend.
Robert Louis gets the ball to Krasnicki again. 12th appearance in a row from him, 4th consecutively off the bench. A high kick here from Carney, and Wella Haraki appeared to have been taken out there as he chased the kick. Another problem for Castleford, by the way. Paul McShane is on his haunches and on the way back now, somewhat gingerly and slowly. There he is, number 9, into his defensive duties. OK, let's get half-time news from Bill Arthur. Bill, what was said?
Neither coach particularly happy. I think Ian Watson, the more so of the two. Darryl Powell looking for a big improvement from his side in the second half. Too many errors crept into the performance as it went on in that first half. Some sloppiness, they're looking to tidy that up, improve their discipline, improve the kicking game, improve all round, really, is the call from the Castleford Tigers coach. By their standards set this season, not one of the best 40 minutes that they've played, looking for better in the second half. Ian Watson delighted that they're still in the hunt, very much still in the hunt in this game. They reckon they can take it all away and that they can get over the top of the Castleford Tigers, but they too are going to have to improve in certain areas. Their discipline, giving away some daft penalties in the coach's words. They've got to cut that out, they've got to cut the errors out, and they've got to take the battle deeper into the Castleford Tigers territory.
Thanks, Bill. Castleford have received 5 penalties in the first half. You understand what Ian Watson was saying, because Salford have only had 2. The rain, as you've probably seen on those close-ups of Watson and Powell, now falling as O'Brien goes on a little run down the right-hand side. Wellen is there at dummy half. It's Carney, and Carney just hoists the kick towards the post here. This is dangerous. This has bounced everywhere, and the ball has been flicked dead, I think, by Castleford. This will be a goal line dropout.
What makes that a dangerous kick, Eddie, is that Castleford have got to contend with the post. Where this ball's bouncing, you can see that Zach Hardacre, he loses it, he leaves it up to Mike McMeekan. The ball then bounces. The Salford attackers putting pressure on the defenders. But nice kick, and they're getting through the set, and this is where they can cause problems.
Big story tonight developing at Castleford is the condition of Greg Eden, Super League's top try scorer, taken off in the first half with shoulder problems. Bill's got further news.
Yeah, it's worse than anticipated is the word coming out of the Castleford Tigers camp, that the shoulder injury is more serious than initially they suspected. I think he's going to be on his way to hospital this evening to have the injury examined, and potentially it could be a lengthy absence for the man who's got another 2 tries to his name this evening, but has gone out of the game with what could be a very serious shoulder problem.
Well, that is a body blow for Darryl Powell and the Castleford Tigers at the wrong end of the season, as far as they are concerned. heading towards the Super 8s. To lose your leading try scorer is a bitter, bitter blow. But we shall see as Salford try and turn the screw. This is Robert Louis. He gets the ball away to Dobson quickly from O'Brien. It gets out wide, and that is a great try from Jake Bibby.
I think he's dropped this, mate. I think in the process of trying to get it on the floor, he loses control of the ball, the left winger from Salford.
And it looks like Phil Bentham agrees with you, Barry. Just checking the grounding, though, Stuart. It was good hands from Salford.
Yeah, just whether he gets it down. Touchage on the far side, Mark Craven. He had his doubts about it as well. You can see he's still in possession there, but he clearly drops that ball.
Jai Hitchcock does a tremendous job, doesn't he? Just puts pressure on the arm, the outstretched arm of Bibby.
There it is, and the result is a 20-metre restart for Castleford, so they'll come away from the goal line.
No try, we could tell that. It was just a question of how to restart.
Eddie, I've never played on the wing, but because it's raining, that's not the play to do. You don't dive in the corner, get low and slide over the line. I think if Jake Bibby has his time again, that's what he would have done instead of going for the big acrobatic finish.
Advice from a man who scored
21, I know.
21 tries in 21 seasons.
Yeah, 21, and I did drop one of those over the line, Eddie.
That was a tragedy, though, really, for Salford. You know, I mean, if you think they've done 4 minutes of very hard work, the meters that the players made from the kick-off really the second half, who rolled downfield, got themselves into that position, earned the right, I think, to score 4 points, but missed it. That'll be costly, I think, at the end of this match.
Lefeo gets Castleford over the halfway line. McShane picks it up one-handed. That's a nice dab to the corner from Luke Gale. He knows that the rain is falling, so the ball will be getting greasier and greasier, but O'Brien dealt with it well, and then Castleford deal with his threat pretty well. Carney gets the ball away. Niall Evans.
Kicking early in the play there, Luke Gale. He's the man who knows when to step up and what needs to be done. His teammates react to everything that he does.
Might have caught sight just a moment or two ago. Leeds fighting back against Hull FC. It's 4-7 now at Headingley.
Well done.
And Huddersfield, I think, 20 points to 0 in the lead. They haven't conceded a point in the last match against Widnes. They haven't conceded a point thus far against the Lee Centurions. OK, the bottom two in the table, but 20-0 to Huddersfield. I think we can safely say that Warrington are in the qualifiers. Lee haven't done them the favour that they were hoping for after last night's very creditable win against Wigan.
Doesn't he do the little things really well, Zach Hardacre? We saw the mistake he made in the first half. He caught that ball confidently. We've already seen in the first half a couple of times the line was broken and Salford were threatening. He was able to make the tackle. His role in this team now will be very important.
Touch judge is on. He's seen Todd Carney's challenge a little high. It just went under the chin.
Tackle.
Carney looks the picture of innocence. Let's have a closer look.
Time off, we're ready.
I'm okay with that, isn't it?
Well, he's got the arm, hasn't he?
That's not a penalty for me. The Cas fans have shouted it's a high shot. All of a sudden, the touch judge has put his flag on and run on.
Hold.
Well, Carney as bemused as Terry.
Move.
Lynch.
Get square. Hold.
For Castleford, midway inside now the Salford half of the field. A drive-in by Kevin Laroya, the Frenchman named in the 32-man World Cup squad for the French, along with his teammate Gadwin Springer this week. That's good work again down the left for Joel Monaghan, and Monaghan's over for his try, only his 6th of the season. Well, if they have lost Greg Eden for a long time, they've got Jai Hitchcock on one wing, who is a candidate to fill in, and they've certainly got this fellow on the other. 5 times an Australian international, 3 times he's played for New South Wales, and he certainly knows where the try line is, does Joel Monaghan. But this penalty a little harsh on Todd Carney, and they paid a big price.
A nothing penalty really, and I think the difference between good teams and great teams is when they get that little glimpse, they get a look at the line, they convert those opportunities. Salford failed, and Jake Bibby, couldn't get the ball down in the left-hand corner. The Castleford go all the way up the other end of the pitch in the left-hand corner and score a try.
Whoever plays outside of Michael Shenton, you're going to score some tries. He hides himself behind the ruck, he then comes around He's such a skillful player, and that man certainly knows where the try line is.
Just to emphasise that point, 145 tries from Joel Monaghan in 145 appearances for the Warrington Wolves.
Well, that one was made a little easier, wasn't it? Because Niall Eval's got hypnotised by the ball. Perhaps that Luke Scale ability, really, isn't it? When he has the possession, players looking at what he's going to do with it. And all of a sudden he was planted, facing infield, and it allowed Monaghan just the space. But that was a brilliant rugby league try. Tiny bit of land, created the gate, and he went through it.
And seems that anywhere within Cooey, Luke Gale is the man to complete the job. 24-10 Castleford.
Well, you've almost got a 12-point turnaround, haven't you, there? Potentially if they kick that from one side with 6 points, but diagonally then we've gone to the other corner of the field, and through brilliant backline play, well-timed run, Joel Monaghan receives that pass, and we've got a look at that. All of a sudden, what could have been 18 points to 16, we've got the 14-point gap again.
And when you think about it, that would have been yet another hat-trick for Greg Eden.
So you can put the try down to the people that are playing inside here, who creates that space. You've got Zach Hardaker out the back, he's a big indicator. You then got Shenton, Luke Gale pulling all the strings, favouring this left edge.
Phil might be right, actually, as this is deemed to be a knock-on. I think Ben Roberts was trying to persuade the referee that he was being pushed and shoved. It was a sheer handling error, I think.
He's then moved forward, and that's why he's lost the ball.
The referee, Phil Bentham, just saying to the Cas players that he didn't win the ruck, he didn't dominate, and then he walked forward, goes off the mark, then he loses the ball.
Well, that's another one, that's a mystery to me. I think he wins that ruck. I think he
Why did he fall over? Why did he fall over?
Because he's being manhandled for me.
Stuart?
Well, he's tried to win the penalty there. I think he knocked on in the first occasion before he actually lost the ball. I think that's the right decision.
I think if you're asking the referees to be honest, and we always are, I think you've got to ask the players to be honest as well.
I was just going to say...
And they've got the ball back anyway, Castleford, so no damage done.
Just going to say a big period for Salford now, but Ben Murdoch-Masila, the man who've been calling for to give him the ball, let him set his lines, loses possession just 20 metres out Casford's line.
I've looked on the tackle count with Ben Murdoch-Masila to see whether he's doing extra work in defence. His work rate so far in the second half isn't a massive number, it isn't a lot, only 13 tackles, but I think the amount of chasing, the times where players are near him and he's having to do extra work is possibly taking a bit of petrol out of his tank.
Well, there's history beckoning for Castleford Tigers tonight. They can go through the season unbeaten at home. And here they come again down this left-hand side. Michael Shenton, beautiful strides, great ball to Hardaker, great try. But in the back play, there's a real brew going on. Phil Bentham has awarded the try, but something went on 60, 70 metres back.
It's Murdoch-Masila right in the thick of it.
Well, the fighting and the pushing and shoving, and at the other end,
Release him.
Hardaker goes over under the sticks.
We were all looking at what Michael Shenton was doing when he broke free. He just dropped it a gear, didn't he? Goes through the Salford line.
I think Stuart knows what's gone on in back play.
It was a late shot by Murdoch-Masila after the ball had been passed. It's on Luke Gale. Jesse Senna-Lafayette took exception to that and went back, and that's when Murdoch-Masila and him ended up in a clinch. I don't think either of them have thrown a punch. Tries being awarded. Phil Bentham might sit those two down.
That was a hefty challenge from the back row. Like I've talked about, I think he's had a lot of work, and Jesse Senna-Lafayette just giving you a little bit of the dark arts there. He's got to look after his half-back. He's got to talk to the bloke that's hit his half-back and his ball carrier and let him know he's not happy with that. There you see the big number 11 from Salford hits his half-back, and Jesse Senna-Lafayette, he goes in and lets him know he's not happy.
Well, Michael Shenton, as we said, you just look at the speed that he possesses. It's as though that, like, when he gets the ball, he just slows the tempo down, then all of a sudden, when it's the right time, when he puts the ball in his right arm, that's when he accelerates through the gap. Before that, he's slowing the tempo down of the defenders, and then when he pushes through, that man's in support, Zach Hardaker.
big smiles because I think Joel Monaghan knows that Zach Hardaker's picked his pocket for the try there. And it just shows you, we follow the ball. Referees and ex-referees and touch judges follow what's happened in back play.
And I'll be honest, Eddie, I was watching the scuffle as well. I was, first of all, seeing how it would happen.
You're a fighter, not a try scorer, and that's the trouble.
Not anymore, Eddie.
And I was watching the try being scored.
Well, you and I are on the same page. But what's the procedure now, Stuart, as Gale is bound to kick this? After this, does Phil Bentham then take the decision?
He will. And I think what they're actually going to do is just to have a word. Would have been a penalty, but obviously he's played the advantage. So we'll probably just start with a kick-off, 13 against 13.
Gale adds the extra 2. 30 points to 10. Zach Hardaker got a try here in the home win against Hull 2 weeks ago. That was his first at home since March.
Yes. What we've decided is
is having a word.
Advantage for the try. The tackle's late. The timing's going to be better than that. It's a late tackle.
Well, he played advantage. You're right, Stuart, played advantage. And it's a bigger penalty than having him sat down for 10 minutes, the fact that Castleford has scored the extra 6 points. Be interesting now when Murdoch-Masila has the ball in hand next.
Well, the game's just going away, isn't it, from Salford now? 20 points behind on the scoreboard, up against the free-flowing Cass side. Scored more points than anyone else in Super League. It's going to be difficult for them to get back into the game, but I'm sure they're going to give it the best shot.
It's another example for me, Eddie, of how Castleford just differ from the rest. They turn breaks into tries, and I think what you've got to compliment is another kick there. It's a 40-20 for the second time in this game. Their support play is superior to every other team here now. More than likely, how quickly do we get the ball back in play? It's almost been slowed down now. I see a lot of sides here not actually rushing here, just seeing it as a tap penalty inside the opposition 20.
So Lynch takes it forward on the first tackle. And the ball has come free, and it's a knock-on by Andy Lynch, who says it wasn't a knock-on, you know. I had the ball stolen from me on the ground. Let's see what the pictures tell us.
Well, they'll be disappointed here. Yeah, there's an hand in there from Robert Louis. When the ball spills out like that, when the tackle's been complete, you think that there's going to be some interference. If Andy Lynch is lying there on his back, he's waiting for the bodies to get off him. There's no movement, and all of a sudden the ball spills out.
And Eddie, you ask players to be honest. That is the most honest player in the game of Super League, Andy Lynch. Honest, hard, toiling player that will cart the ball forward all day, and unfortunately he's had his pocket picked by Salford.
Yeah, maybe he has. And a shame really for Luke Gale, who was hoping for better reward from that 40-20. It was his 6th 40-20 of 2017.
Well, you get a penalty here now, Eddie. Phil Bentham, the referee, penalising Salford for not regaining the feet to play the ball. You can see, is it Ben Roberts that's all over Krasnicki? He doesn't stand up. Yeah, there could be interference, but he's got to get to his feet. That is an out-and-out penalty. Criminal when you've got the ball in possession.
Could have been 6 and 1/2 dozen of the others.
I don't think so, because Ben Roberts is trying to get out of the way and he's been held back. I think, again, that's the right decision.
So Laroya taking it forward to the 10-metre mark. Lynch now. And this time he makes sure that Robert Louis wouldn't be doing anything to him on the ground. He just bumps him and puts him on his backside. McShane. That ball is knocked on.
Let's play on.
Well, the first one did. I'm not so sure about the second one from Hardaker. Things go for you when you're sitting pretty at the top of the table, that's for sure. Leeds have now taken the lead against Hull, 10-7. Big fight back there. McShane gets it away to Lynch again, surrounded by black jerseys. On tackle number 5. McShane waits. Fires the pass to Roberts. He tries to get the ball through, but Dobson did well.
As well to regather that ball, Michael Dobson, because he did play that ball.
That's a penalty.
Yeah, well, it's that same man again, Ben Roberts, who's just trying to buy a bit more time. You can see that Michael Dobson, when he does play that ball, Ben Roberts knows that. That's the reason why he's lying on. All his teammates were in front of him. He's waiting for them to get set 10 yards back from that rope.
You know, we talked before about whether Salford have hit the wall. 4 defeats in their previous 5 games before they go into this. 20 points behind here now with 25 minutes or so to go and left in this game. We'll find out what sort of character and confidence remains in the team here now. They've hit a slump. They're under pressure against the top of the table. How will they play here now? This will tell us a lot here about what Salford are going to have left in the mindset for the rest of the season.
Lannon plays the ball to Louis. Here now, Dobson. Dobson then finds Carney. Carney gets it back to O'Brien. Short ball then to Wellham.
Move, Luke. Get square.
O'Brien's waiting inside the 20-metre zone. Carney again. Attacking the line.
5. Move. Go away. Go.
And Jordan Wallen, first appearance of the season for him, plays the ball. That ball is behind all the Salford players. It's hacked forward.
That's
Great
wonderful
pressure
line
from
speed.
Paul McShane.
Give him no time, no think time. The execution of that play suffered. Paul McShane working really hard.
OK, well, Minikin hammered the ball downfield, but it went out on the full. And while that was going on, there's a sad sight for Greg Eden. The arm in a sling, he's on his way to hospital. He's obviously in a degree of pain as well. And I hope it isn't, but it might just be the last time we see Greg Eden in action in 2017, which would be sad after the season that he's had.
Looking at him there, that's not an AC joint, that. It's far worse than that, which is, as you say, it's very sad. He's entertained the Super League fans.
Well, he'll be frustrated, Darryl Powell. This win, if it is a win, will come at quite a cost. The loss of your and Super League's top try scorer.
Hold, go.
Wellham 10 metres out. Ben Murdoch-Masilla. Charging run from him, and he attracts all the Tangerine jerseys to him. Here's Krasnicki, and Krasnicki is buried underneath the sticks. Knock on. Play on. He said 0. It was a hand in by Castleford. Play on. Wellham is cut down. And that's the 0 tackle, so 6 more to go from here. 8 metres out. Louis. Carney. Dobson. Wide they go to O'Brien. Here is Josh Jones. Try. Good try in the corner from Bibby. Jake Bibby this time. Make sure. Castleford might be leading by 20 points, but Salford aren't dead yet. There's still 22.5 minutes to go.
Well, the Cas players were thinking that there was a knock on here. Maybe an incorrect play of the ball, but they get away with it. The ball was then stripped from Jesse Letheo. The ball goes out wide, and Bibby did ever so well to score the try.
I think it's just hit his foot. The ball was on the ground, then all that has been because of the foot contact, so it's fine, play on from that.
You look at when Jake Bibby gets this ball. Good work from Dobson, Todd Carney, Gareth O'Brien. Look at this. Not only has he played in the wing and centre, he's played in the back row, so he's a powerful lad.
Dobson to try and add the extras, just can't drift it over the top of the bar. Only kicked 1 tonight, 30 points to 14, though 16 the difference.
Well, let's credit the young winger. He learnt his lesson from the first attempt he had at scoring the try. He feints to go into the corner, steps back, comes back in field, pirouettes and scores a fabulous try.
It's a good, strong finish to keep in the field of play, that, isn't it?
It's skillful play anyway, to shift the ball across the back line, find some space. And I did question in a few minutes ago, you know, what sort of belief exists now in this Salford side. They're on a bad run. Their confidence has been shattered last week after conceding 50 points. Dented here tonight. But they've still got the ability there, haven't they, to put points on the best defensive team in the league.
Jake Bibby with the try, Niall Evolds on the other wing, of course. And don't forget, Manu Vatabai on his way. And will probably, well, they hope he might be in the team next week, but will certainly be in the team for the Challenge Cup semi-final against Wigan.
And for those fans who don't know him, his nickname is the Beast. He's huge. And there's a good shot from Leroy.
And this morning his old team, New Zealand Warriors, paid tribute to him as he left New Zealand for Salford. And they actually named the ground after him temporarily this morning. They played at the, would you believe it, the Manu Vatabai Stadium. Hit the corner post. It's a 20-metre restart.
Just the bounce of that ball, if it just goes this side of the corner flag, would have been excellent. And they've really upped the game now, haven't they, Salford?
And Stuart, there might be people watching who think, well, if the corner post is out of the equation in terms of try scoring, why is it not out of the equation in terms of kicks downfield? Can you just explain the intricacy of the rule?
It's out of the equation when a player is in possession of the ball. If the ball is loose, then it's in play. It's obviously key to deciding which side of the line the ball goes, and therefore what the restart is.
So that is deemed to be out and touching goal then, yes?
Touching goal, yeah.
Move, Logan! Hold! Hold! Goal 3.
So McShane gets the ball away and McMeekin solidly onto it again. He's been good this year as well, Mike McMeekin.
You know, just 23 years old, 109 games under his belt. Imagine when he's in his pomp.
How about that for skill from Ben Roberts? Lost it and then got it back before it hit the ground. Kick out wide looking for Monaghan. Monaghan palms the ball down. I don't think Monaghan thought he could touch that because he was in an offside position.
He was in front of the player who played it last, so he did well to stay out of the way.
He did. That's all those years of experience. How many times he's done the same thing in his career, maybe gone and made the mistake and had the temptation to pick the ball up.
But do you know what? Joe Monaghan, all he has to do is touch this ball down. Look, he knocks the ball backwards. It comes off the Salford player, Todd Carney. He's there and he's thinking that he's offside. All he needs to do is touch that ball down. It's a try.
Easily bagged a brace there, couldn't he, if he'd gone over on that one?
Wow. Too honest then from Joel Monaghan.
Well, he and we thought that had come off Michael Shenton.
I did.
Well, let's give him credit. He didn't panic.
Honesty, as honest as the day is long.
He didn't panic. He assumed the worst. And his side are rewarded for it. Some good touches. As you say, a lovely line from Mike McMeekin. I think we might see that again tonight.
It's now with Luke Gale. Short ball from him.
Held!
Referee says it was held on Foster. McShane, Millington. 3 are there to make sure he doesn't do anything. Eventually, down he goes. McShane, Jesse Senilefeo. If he touches it down, it'll be a try, but they make sure he doesn't. He releases the ball.
Yeah,
So I'll tell you what, Todd Carney has got the ball back.
Salford's ball, good effort from Lamatasi. He just holds up Senilefeo as he's trying to ground that ball. His effort to hold him up was a big play. Look at this, holding him up, gets underneath him, then Jesse Senilefeo knows that there's enough Salford numbers there, offloads the ball.
3, move!
And it's with Josh Jones now to try and work this ball. No, it wasn't, I beg your pardon.
4, move, Mike!
Salford are trying to work the ball downfield now with Josh Jones.
5,
Another solid enough run.
goal!
It was Jordan Wallen. Big hoof down the centre of the field. Hardacre with all the time in the world. Oh, he's lost the ball. Niall Owls has picked it up, and Niall Owls will score for the Salford Red Devils. And they are closing the gap inside the last quarter. Referee Phil Bentham will check how that ball came free.
Tackle. We've got to try. Just check it, please, Ben.
Just wants to check how the ball's come out. It looked as though it was a clean drop from here by Hardacre, but we'll see now.
Yeah, they'll just want to make sure that there's no knock-on. You can see there, well,
Is he going to make a tackle?
He certainly played at the ball, so he's played the ball last Wellham, but what direction is he actually in?
Looked like it went backwards off Wellham, or backwards towards the Castleford line, not the other way round.
Right. Yeah, this will show us. So he's definitely playing at the ball, so he knocks the ball out. But I think he plays that into Hardacre, and then he comes forward. So I think that's okay. I think that's play on.
You not think he knocks this ball down, shoot it towards the line, the opposition's line?
No, that's gone back towards Salford's line, hasn't it?
I think that's okay. It's difficult to tell, and certainly the tries being awarded on the field is a definite proof of the direction the ball goes in, because it certainly looks like it's coming forward off Zach Hardacre. So I don't think there's enough there, certainly for the video referee to overturn the on-field decision. I think this try should be awarded.
I think it comes backwards and then bounces forwards.
But when he makes a play for this, I think he knocks it out, and it is going towards Cass's line, but then it comes off Zach Hardaker's body and goes back then towards Salford's line. Niall Levels picks this up, and I agree with Stuart that because it's gone up as a try, is there enough in this play to turn it down?
Well, I'm looking at both sets of players. Nobody behind the sticks. They don't feel it's a try. I don't think it's a try.
Well, they're not looking at the grounding. So it's no try. And this is going to be, this must be a penalty then to...
It'll be a knock-on, it'll be a scrum. If he's ruled that it's a knock-on.
It's not a great advert for the video referee, that is it. We've looked at it 4 times. None of us think that it should have been disallowed. The referee awarded a try on the field.
He said he's pulled him back. He said Wellham has pulled him back, and that's why the penalty's given. So is that why the try's disallowed then?
Must be. We all missed that because he's given a penalty.
It's affecting the tackle, isn't it? I mean, you don't immediately pull off somebody once you've made contact. In your mind, there's a period of time where you're still engaged with the man who had possession.
When I first heard Castleford penalty, I thought it was a 2-man tackle, but looking at it 5 to 6 times, it plainly wasn't. Anyway, we know now why the penalty's given. Looks like Nathan Massey is A-OK. He was injured in the first half. Back out there now, getting to his feet and plays the ball to McShane. Millington.
Still marching those legs forward, the prop forward, Grant Millington.
He's solid, isn't he?
Yeah.
Really is. Great performer. Gale, back he comes, quick hands from all of Castleford, and Monaghan caught one across his face. Gale, Massey.
So many options set up either side of the play the ball.
McShane and Gale again, and wide from Shenton to Monaghan, and Joel Monaghan gets his second. It might have been 4 for Eden. Well, 7-5 for 1-7-5 for Warrington in his playing days there, and Joel Monaghan certainly knows where the try line is. And you can play down this left-hand side, can't you? You can play down the left-hand side for Cass.
It's the second time in the second half that we've seen that 12-point turnaround here. What we all thought, sat here, all 5 of us, was a legitimate try for Salford and Niall Levels, which would have been 6 points for them. And within a short period of time, we've gone to the other end of the field here. And maybe Darryl Powell could put anybody on the left wing. Maybe even old John Key could get back in there in the number 5 shirt and still score enough tries here to get them to the grand final.
He's got quick hands, hasn't he, Michael Shenton? Everything with Castle, it's all like right in front. And for Michael Shenton to just get rid of that ball, knowing that his wingman's there in Joel Monaghan.
It's an untidy pass. It bounces off his chest first.
But you look
just
at
for
that
a
shot,
fraction of a second.
You look at that shot, it looked as though, on that camera angle, as though it drifted forward.
Maybe not. I'm not prepared to scrub off those types of tries. I'd rather applaud the skill of Michael Shenton. He has no time to hand that ball into the path of the winger. It's been given, and for me, I'd rather applaud the skill.
And your combinations, Eddie, of knowing where your wingman is, you've got to have faith. If you throw a ball like that, and it is an untidy pass to you, you've got to know that your teammate's there outside of you.
So Luke Gale then, he's kicked 5 out of 6. Kicked another. Priceless goal kicking from Luke Gale this year. Monaghan's 4 becomes 6 for Castleford. It's 36-14.
When you look at Cass's play, they're a patient side. They like to build pressure. This is the side that they do favour. That little face ball goes across Mellor, goes to Shenton, and as I say, the combination that they have out on the edges has been there for all to see all year, and that man has done a tremendous job, Darryl Powell.
And you know how you can tell it's a practice move. Alex Foster never even attempts to catch that ball. He knows it's going across the face. He knows Shenton is available to catch it and will look to find the space on the edge.
Just another word about Luke Gale's goal kicking, by the way. 6 from 7 tonight now. The one that he missed, he hit the post, so he couldn't have been closer. Huddersfield 26, Lee 4. Huddersfield will be in the Super 8s. Ian Watson's on his way down. Salford will be in the Super 8s as well, but where they will finish up, we'll have to wait and see. Beginning the night here in 3rd place. Salford will finish their 23 rounds with a visit to the Lee Centurions next weekend. Oh, nice pace from Roberts. Nice kick wide from Roberts, looking for Shenton, looking maybe for Monaghan. Wellham to the rescue for Salford.
You know, it's amazing the vision that Cass had under pressure, and all of a sudden Ben Roberts can just spot what the defence is doing. His teammates react to what then he does, and he kicks that ball to the corner. And they're just playing what they see, aren't they?
They don't swarm towards the ball. The break is made. They all hold their original lines. They know where the ball's going to end up. And with a better bounce, it's greasy, a little bit drizzly at the minute. With a better bounce, that could have been a try for the hard-working Shenton.
Logan Tompkins gets the ball away again to Daniel Murray. He plays the ball back to Tompkins. Carney gets the kick away under pressure from McShane. Monaghan has picked it up.
Well, Eddie, just over 12 minutes to go in this game. They're 22 points behind on the scoreboard. I'm looking at what Salford have got. What's the character like? The way they're going to finish off this game, even if they don't come away with the 2 valuable league points. Here's a mistake. Could open the door for Salford.
Greg Minikin. Usually on the wing.
Well, he tries to play that ball. He's under pressure, isn't he? And you can see that there's no interference. He tries to plan that ball down. He doesn't have good control over it in the first place.
Well, 15 tries in Super League, plus 3 in the Cup run.
Just keep the standards at the scrum.
And 11 of his 18 have come here, but he's been relatively quiet tonight.
And there's another man that can, as you said, play it on the wing,
Yep.
Jai Hitchcox.
Oh. O'Brien lost it forward to McShane, who lost it forward in turn.
Well, we need to find a better way, don't we? When the rain comes down, finding a ball with a better grip, or the players need to find a better technique for holding on to it, because we've seen in recent matches in these conditions too many handling errors.
I'm not sure we can blame the ball.
I've read this week that the Rugby League are in conversation with the ball manufacturers.
I played in the dark old days in the late 80s and 90s, and we played with a ball that was like a bar of soap, and there wasn't half as many mistakes. For me, it's not about the ball, it's about the attention to detail, I think.
Well, it's every team seems to suffer when it gets a bit greasy, but it seems to get greasy in hot weather and wet weather, and I don't know the reason for that. I've no idea.
Well, I'm sure if the players get the right grip, get their thumb around the ball and hold it as tight as they can, sure there'll be less mistakes.
Meakin hangs on. Salford hang on to him. Roberts will scamper away. Josh Jones has hold of his shirt tail. Oh, well, without that, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan Lannon coming in. He just saw those ribs exposed. He thought it was a clean shot. Phil Bentham, the referee, had already called hell. The tackle wasn't going forward, it was complete. Well, you can just see them. Some players take exception. Ben Roberts, as he's going down, Lannon spots him.
I've called held, Mike. I've called held.
He's got his hand on the floor, there's no argument with that.
It's just a
It's
penalty.
only about 10 inches off the floor.
I think he'd succumbed to the tackle anyway.
Is that a flop, Stuart? Would that be, or would be more than that?
I'd call it more a late tackle more than anything else. The tackle had been called, he came in afterwards. It's a penalty.
Salford conceded 11 penalties last week. You've just seen there at the bottom of the screen, they've conceded 9 tonight. If they want to have any hopes in the Super 8s or the Challenge Cup semi-final, they need to reduce that number.
Yes, Castleford have conceded only 3 tonight. By contrast, Millington, into the last 10 minutes we go. 36-14. Wakefield have beaten Widnes convincingly at home. Hardacre to the in-goal area, and the ball just about beats everybody, O'Brien and Monaghan.
Well, they'll try absolutely anything Again, trying to create the numbers out wide. Nothing on from Zach Hardaker, so he just kicks the ball forward. And you can see this year that at 25 years of age, Zach Hardaker is leading by example. He's one of the senior players now within this side. A former Man of Steel, and I'm sure he's going to be a contender again this year.
Murray went without it, and Hardaker looking to respond. Here is McMeekin, puts the brakes on, comes back the other way. Solid defensive line ahead of him, though.
You learn a lot about your side in the dying throes of a game, especially when the scoreboard has gone against you. Who loses the composure? Who's in total self-destruct mode? I thought he had a good opening spell, young Daniel Murray. And he's just letting his enthusiasm get the better of him in that challenge. He was the person that just simply dropped the ball when Salford were in possession. It's a big night for him, his first start in Super League. Already shown in that first inning. I think he's got plenty to offer.
It was, I totally agree. And you can just see that he knocks on all this within a minute, and then he gives a penalty away for the flop, the second effort on Ben Roberts.
We've seen, by the way, that Wakefield have beaten Widnes tonight. They now level on points with Salford in the table, but points difference favours the Red Devils.
Luke Gale just lining up this conversion, taking his time.
Talking about that points difference, it probably goes to show just how well Castleford have defended as well here tonight against this Salford side. If you look at the points scored last year and this year for Castleford, well, so far in a game, they maybe are trying to go better this year, but it's the defensive improvement. They've conceded 12 points a game less on average in 2017 than they did last season. They've been outstanding, haven't they? And even some of the desire to tackle and close down Salford in the second half has been admirable. And the reason why they are clear favourites now to go to Old Trafford.
38 points to 14. The home record is unblemished in 2017. They'll want to finish top of the table. That's his intention, to bring about that semi-final here to get to Old Trafford. The race behind them is intriguing. If Hull have lost at Leeds, Wakefield go above Hull. So they're all jockeying for position, but Castleford march on at the top of the table. That's not the final score. Hull are still in it, but if it stays like that, Wakefield go above Hull. Leeds, of course, second. Castleford top. Salford drop off the pace a little. And Huddersfield, I think, will go above Wigan on points difference. So Wigan will be 8th tonight.
Stand. Hold.
What a year it's been. What an uncertain year 2017 will go down as.
The way that Castleford have played consistently throughout this year has been the bright spark for me, but ultimately it's about the way you finish. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, and Castleford Tigers will know there's still massive games ahead of them and everything to play for.
Indeed so, particularly in the Super 8s when everybody's playing teams in their near vicinity. Here's another Salford penalty, and they are now on a team warning. Phil Bentham's lost his patience.
Team warning, lads.
Too many penalties.
Talked about Castleford and the way that they've played. Salford have played incredibly well. This has been a poor night for them, and I don't think they'll play this poorly again for the rest of the season. They've almost been in self-destruct mode, and it probably is a good example of where they are as a team. They've a lot to learn. They're on a journey of discovery with Ian Watson, and I'm pretty confident they'll come back, especially in the big games in the playoffs.
Well, they and Wigan and Leeds have cups, and Hull have cup semi-final business to come. Castleford, their prime objective, their one goal this year is the Super League and the Grand Final, and they want to make sure of that home place in the Super 8s if they can, as quickly as possible.
Well, Cass just don't want to fluff the lines, do they? They know that everyone's been talking about them. Again, they go wide here.
Oh, Shent, I can't believe that. That's a knock-on. The referee has got them for that.
It's a great pass by Luke Gale. I mean, he passed it to where him and Michael Shenton, the decision there, look, he set off on a run. He's hoping he's going to get there in time to try and get on the outside of the man in front of him, Chris Wellham. Okay, it doesn't come off. But the lines which they run are in far advanced and superior to many other teams that are playing rugby, probably anywhere in the world at the moment. And I suppose you've got to credit the Castleford coaching staff for encouraging the team to try and run and play in a different way.
You're right, Phil. Luke Gale throws that pass, puts that ball in the space where he wants his runner to be.
First.
It's good defence from Salford. It was an awkward catch, and they weren't able to make the break. And I'd like to see Michael Shenton be rewarded with a try. He's worked incredibly hard and provided a number of opportunities to whoever's been outside him.
Well, if you take a look at the league table, and Castleford up there at the top leading the pursuers at the moment, we work it out that after this victory tonight, which it will be a victory now, of course, they need 4 more wins, Castleford, to be 100% assured that they will be top of the table after the Super 8s. 4 wins. And they've got 8 games to play.
And you'd back them for those wins, wouldn't you?
You'd back them for more, probably.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of injuries, and I know players like Moores are on the way back as they receive a penalty.
Another penalty. He thought briefly, I think, then about producing the yellow card, Phil Bentham, because they're on a warning, a team warning.
I think he did, but he doesn't know who it is that's pulled the ball out.
It's George Griffin. Not that I'm telling tales, but it's George Griffin, the number 10.
I finished my point now. The only question mark, the only worry if you're a Castleford fan or player is those key personnel, and we've already seen one leave the field tonight, Greg Eden, the top try scorer, hoping they're fit at the right time, making sure for those big games you've got all your big guns.
Well, yes, full time at Headingley. Leeds have beaten Hull FC, so Wakefield go above Hull in the Betfred Super League table. It's been a breakthrough year for some of these clubs. 2017.
Move!
Teams that were tipped for the other end of the table are going to be battling it out for Old Trafford over the next 8 weeks.
Move!
Some of the big spenders as well. Again, look at the way that they play the game.
Yes, it's a joy to behold, and there is going to be someone in the sin bin now.
Is Grant Millington, was he hit late?
Well, Haraki's off.
Walk away. He's cheap. He's cheap. Hey.
Well, Haraki came back for a discussion with Luke Gale then.
Well, I said before the game that Salford are one of those sides that really do chase you down. When the ball's passed, they put pressure on you from the inside. So Ben Murdoch-Masila come up with a shot, and then again, Wella Haraki.
Late again.
It's late.
It looks worse, doesn't it, in slow motion?
Wella Haraki, of course, spent some time at Castleford during his career, playing against many of his former teammates. No love lost on that challenge.
And they do look bad, Phil, because you relax when you pass the ball, don't you?
Control yourselves, yeah?
So Salford will end the match playing with 12 men, and Castleford here have got the opportunity to do their points difference even more good. McMeekin once more.
Can Michael Shenton get his well-deserved try?
Play the ball.
Pushing and shoving at the play the ball. No, he can't, not yet. So Logan Tompkins picks up the drop ball. No advantage, so the referee will put the scrum down.
Well, it's not been Salford's night as Leroy makes the mistake. But if you trade places with them last year and look where they are this year, look, they've turned up to play the top of the table side. We expected it to be a classic game. They've been outscored, but we're still talking in positive terms of Salford. They're still up there challenging for that top 4 finish come the end of the year.
And the historians amongst you will remember that Castleford provided Salford with their first ever Super League opposition in March 1997. Salford won that game by 4 points to 0, the lowest ever scoring game in Super League history. Well, it's 38-14 tonight in July 2014. Griffin gets the ball away. I like the way Salford's attitude is. They continue to want to play. They get a penalty here for a ball steal. The game has ended in scrappy fashion, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, they've got nothing to lose. You've got a team that's well in front on the scoreboard. You've got a team that's chasing the game. What is good to see but if you're Darryl Powell, is the way that their side have defended. The last few minutes of this game, they certainly stepped up, but look, 13 penalties to 4. That's where it's really hurt them, and a lot of that damage was done in the first half.
Goal 1. Two.
Solid enough work from Jake Bibby.
Goal 2.
Tompkins wide to Dobson. He gets it to
3.
Lannon.
Move. Get square. Goal 3.
Tompkins. Dobson again. George Griffin. Wide they go to Josh Jones.
4. Move.
4 tackles gone. 30 seconds remaining. Todd Carney. Crossfield kick. Joel Monaghan says thanks very much.
Yeah, he's held on to that, Todd Carney, far too long. His kick chasers have overrun it. Ultimately, the players on the edge managed to tackle Joel Monaghan into the in goal, but they don't need a goal line dropout, they need a try.
Well, they're not even going to get the goal line dropout because Salford in no rush and there's only a second remaining. And as the crowd underneath us, the Castleford Tigers fans chant, "We are top of the league." Darryl Powell leads the applause for another job very well done. An unbeaten home record in Super League for the first time in the club's history. 11 matches now, straight wins. Top of the table, favourites to get to Old Trafford. But at what cost, with Greg Eden having left the field after he scored his second try midway through the first half. He'll be delighted with the victory, will Darryl Powell. He will be concerned that his top try scorer is on his way to hospital to get the shoulder checked out, and who knows, perhaps operated on. We might not see him again this year, which would be a shame.
Yeah, we all wish Greg Eden well, but the way that they've stepped up, the substitutions have come on, they've added Joel Monaghan, you've got the stepping up. Hasn't he been dependable? Whenever Darryl Powell's asked him to go onto the field and come up with something, he turns up, he plays with a smile on his face. You've got Greg Minikin, he can switch to the wing when Jake Webster comes back, but this game has been about the way that they played, their attitude to defend, their attitude when they had the ball. And Salford, well, it's back to the drawing board for them. But they'll go back halfway, and Ian Watson will know that it's not been good enough, but they'll come back again.
OK, it's a win for Castleford, a big win. They march on at the top of the table. And it's only time now to name the Betfred man of the match for this. And how many times have we named this fellow as Betfred's man of the match? Luke Gale with Bill.
Thanks, Eddie. Luke, congratulations on another man of the match performance. Bit reluctant to accept this one.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm surprised at that one. Probably a lot more players deserve that than me. Massive team performance. We owed Salford one. I think it's the only team we haven't beat this year. So, yeah, revenge is sweet.
But it was difficult, wasn't it? I mean, the scoreline will look pretty comfortable, but it was never comfortable.
No, it wasn't, mate. They're a top-class side, and it's outstanding what they've done this year. They've got world-class players through and through, and it was a tough game.
But you're coming through the challenges. You get these challenges, sometimes by the skin of your teeth. Tonight, maybe not so close. Another challenge which you've overcome.
Yeah, exactly, mate. 14 points I think we conceded tonight against a team that play like this. It goes unnoticed to think RD, but SD were awesome tonight.
It seemed to unsettle you when Greg Eden went off with that shoulder problem. It did seem to unsettle the side.
I don't know about that, Bill. His other winger scored 2 as well.
Yeah, that's a bit cruel.
Yeah. No, mate, the top-class player in here, Greg. And if the player goes off like that, it's gonna hurt you.
Not that much. Well, man of the match award, you get the silver salver. You've got a cheque for a charity of your choice as well, £250.
Yeah, I think it's a fitting moment to donate this to Evan Hawksworth, who sadly passed away last week, and fought with his family and friends. And I think his family wanted to go to the benevolent fund. I think, yeah, we're thinking of you.
Well done, Luke.
Thank you.
Ian Watson is the Salford coach. Thanks for joining us, Ian. And Luke's just admitted it was never comfortable. It was an improvement from your side, do you think?
Yeah, slightly in certain areas. I thought our middle stood up really well, to be fair. I think we've been let down by our edge defence today, which I don't think anyone will disagree on that. So look, it's something that we need to fix up, and we will do. We'll play these again, so it'll be a good experience for us.
Is this mini slump that you're in worrying you?
No. Look, we've had a kind of a big year. There's a lot of kind of guys who we've kind of got on the sides at the moment, but we've got young lads in here who are playing and putting their hand up, and we'll be better for this experience come these Super 8s as well. And like I say, we play Cass again, and we'll see how we go then.
And you're saying that players are having to come into the side and fill the shoes of others. They're learning.
Yeah, look, it's a great experience for Daniel Murray, Ryan Lannon to be playing the game time they are, young Jake Bibby. People are these little things that they're getting caught out with slightly at the moment, and like I say, we'll learn and we'll develop on the back of that, and like I say, we'll come back here again pretty confident if we have to play them in the Super 8s.
Thanks, Ian. Thanks for talking to us. And his opposite number is Darryl Powell, Castleford Tigers coach. You've beaten the one side who've been troubling you this term. That's got to be satisfying.
You know, it's about getting 2 points in. We were at our best tonight. You know, we pulled some smart bits out in both halves, but you know, we say we made too many errors, I thought, particularly in the first half, but I thought we defended really well for the most part, and some of the bits there defensively towards the back end of the second half when the game's won and we've got some real intent about us. So, you know, the boys are in a good place. We've got a few troops to come back in, and competition for places, which is always good, but obviously really disappointed for Greg Eden. You know, he's probably be out for the year with that, which is a massive blow. He's been going awesome for us.
It did seem to, I mean, Luke Gale was very, not matter-of-fact about it, but philosophical about it. You've got to get on with the job, but when you lose a player like that who has been made such an impact for you, it may be going to destabilise things. Joel Monaghan did a great job.
Yeah, Monaghan's a proven winger, isn't he? You know, he's scored a couple of tries himself. He's a good player. We've got Jai Hitchcock, who's done pretty well for us, and Greg Minnikin across. So, well, this happens, doesn't it? Every team has to deal with a little bit of adversity, and we just crack on, and the boys will work hard and go to Catalan next week. Bit of a travel for us.
Enjoy it.
I'll try.
They move one step closer to the league lead.